Have you ever felt underestimated? Judged, perhaps, simply by your appearance? That sting of being dismissed before you even have a chance to show who you truly are? It's a feeling many know, a quiet burn of injustice. Share your experiences in the comments below. Your stories matter. And if this resonates, a little like would be a wonderful gesture. This story, well, it's for you. It whispers of hidden depths and the surprising power that can reside in the most unassuming of souls. There are shadows here, secrets that cling to the edges of the scene, questions that hang heavy in the air like a forgotten melody. What drove her to that range? What ghost did she carry? And who were those men? Their laughter sharp with a certain cruel edge. The air itself seems to hum with an unspoken tension, a prelude to something extraordinary, something unforgettable. Let's delve deeper to see. The woman, Evangeline, stood at the edge of the firing line, the oversized safety goggles slipping slightly on her nose. Her denim jacket was faded, softened by years of wear, and her hands, though steady now, bore the faint lines of a life lived through honest labor. Around her, the air crackled with the expensive energy of men who exuded confidence and wealth. Their laughter, sharp and dismissive, echoed across the concrete enclosure. They were the titans of industry, the architects of fortunes, and they eyed Evangeline with a mixture of amusement and disdain. Well, well, boomed a voice, thick with self-importance. It belonged to Sterling, a man whose tailored suit seemed to mock Evangeline's simple attire. Looks like someone wandered in from the wrong side of town. His companions chuckled, a chorus of condescending agreement. Evangeline didn't flinch. Her gaze remained fixed on the target downrange, a splash of orange against the dusty backdrop. She had come here with a purpose, a quiet determination that belied her outward appearance. This shooting range, nestled in the exclusive outskirts of the city, was a place she'd never imagined visiting, yet here she was, the object of their casual cruelty. What brought her here? A whisper of a promise, a need to confront something buried deep within her past. A past that these men, in their gilded cages of privilege, could never comprehend. Another man, Jasper, with a silver watch that glinted in the harsh sunlight, sauntered closer. Perhaps she's lost, Sterling. Maybe she's looking for the lost and found. More laughter rippled through the group. Evangeline finally turned, her eyes, the color of warm honey, meeting Jasper's cold gaze. There was no anger in them, only a profound sadness, a weight of experiences they knew nothing about. I know exactly where I am, she said, her voice soft but firm, cutting through their mockery like a honed blade. The laughter died down, replaced by a flicker of unease. There was something in her quiet dignity that unsettled them, a hint of a strength they hadn't anticipated. But their arrogance quickly resurfaced. And what would a woman like you be doing at a place like this? Sterling sneered, his eyes sweeping over her again, lingering on her worn boots. Evangeline simply raised her hands, revealing the well-worn firearm she held. It wasn't one of their sleek, expensive models. It was a simple, unadorned pistol, yet it looked like an extension of her own being. A collective silence fell over the group. They exchanged uneasy glances. This wasn't the timid intruder they had assumed. She loaded the magazine with practiced ease, the metallic clicks echoing in the sudden stillness. Her movements were precise, economical, betraying a familiarity with the weapon that surprised them. Where had she learned to handle a gun like that? It was another question that hung in the air, unanswered, adding to the growing intrigue. Taking her stance, Evangeline focused, her breath evening out. The taunts of the billionaires faded into a distant hum. All that mattered was the target, the feel of the cool steel in her hand, the quiet hum of concentration that settled over her. Her first shot rang out, sharp and clear. The bullet struck the center of the target. A collective gasp rippled through the onlookers. It could have been a fluke, they told themselves. Beginner's luck. But then came the second shot, and the third, each one finding its mark with unwavering accuracy. The orange circle at the center of the target began to disappear, replaced by neat, precise holes. The billionaires watched in stunned silence, their earlier amusement dissolving into disbelief. Who was this woman? What was her story? The air thickened with unspoken questions and a growing sense of unease. Her fourth shot clipped the edge of the previous one, creating a ragged hole in the bullseye. Sterling's jaw tightened. Jasper's silver watch seemed to tick louder in the silence. They had mocked her, dismissed her, and now she was demonstrating a skill that none of them possessed. The fifth and sixth shots followed, each one a testament to her focused precision. The target was now a mangled mess around the central point, yet every single shot was undeniably within the scoring rings. A murmur rippled through the onlookers. This was no accident. This was deliberate, practiced, almost masterful. Evangeline paused, her eyes closed for a brief moment. What memories flickered behind those lids? What pain fueled this intense concentration? There was a story etched on her face, a story they were only beginning to glimpse. A story that spoke of hardship, resilience, and perhaps revenge. She opened her eyes, her gaze steady, and fired her seventh shot. Bullseye. The eighth. Bullseye. The ninth. Bullseye. The silence was now absolute, heavy with awe and a touch of fear. These weren't just shots, they were statements. Each precise hit seemed to chip away at the billionaire's arrogance, revealing their vulnerability. Only one shot remained. Evangeline took a deep breath, the stillness of the range amplifying the sound. Her finger tightened on the trigger. The final shot echoed, a definitive punctuation mark to her display. The target jerked violently. 10 shots. 10 hits. The center was completely obliterated. Sterling finally broke the silence, his voice a hoarse whisper. That was impossible. Jasper could only stare, his silver watch reflecting the disbelief in his eyes. The other billionaires were equally speechless, their faces a mixture of shock and something akin to shame. They had judged her by her appearance, and she had answered with a display of skill that left them utterly humbled. Evangeline lowered the gun, the silence stretching, thick and meaningful. She turned to face them, her expression calm, almost serene. "Never underestimate anyone," she said, her voice quiet but carrying a weight of profound truth. "You never know the battles they've fought, the skills they've honed in the shadows." She placed the pistol on the table, the metallic sound sharp in the stillness. Then, without another word, without a trace of triumph or vindication, Evangeline turned and walked away, leaving the stunned billionaires in her wake, their expensive world momentarily shattered by the quiet power of a simple woman and her 10 unforgettable shots. The questions lingered long after she was gone. Who was she? Where did she learn to shoot like that? And what was the hidden story behind her unexpected appearance at their exclusive range? The silence held no answers, only the echoing truth of their misjudgment. The moral of the story? True strength often resides in the quietest of hearts, and appearances can be profoundly deceiving. Never dismiss the potential that lies within someone simply because they don't fit your preconceived notions. You might just be left speechless,